We begin today's wrestling news and rumors video with some absolutely huge news regarding Wyndham Rotunda, formerly known as Bray Wyatt or The Fiend Bray Wyatt in WWE. Now, it has definitely been a very long time since we've had any big news about Bray Wyatt, because by all means, most wrestling fans have been patiently waiting for Bray Wyatt to return to the ring following his release from WWE back in late July of 2021. And we finally have some truly huge news regarding Bray Wyatt's return. And it is certainly looking like Wyatt has every intention on coming back to wrestle again, despite the rumors that went around a while back that Bray was basically done with wrestling altogether, and thankfully that appears as though it isn't true. For those of you unaware, last night, Bray Wyatt had taken to social media and posted a bunch of cryptic tweets, basically teasing his impending return to the ring, although at this point we don't know if Bray Wyatt is going to be returning to WWE, joining AEW, Impact Wrestling, or something else entirely. Here are the cryptic messages that Bray Wyatt put out on Twitter that have not surprisingly garnered an incredible reaction from wrestling fans across social media, and for good reason, as it has been so long since we have really heard anything about Bray Wyatt coming back to wrestle again. Quote, "Everything good that's happened to me. First came a period of horrible suffering. I never asked why, I just wait for the rough part to end. I was chosen for whatever reason, and I've got stuff to do. It doesn't hurt anymore, it burns. I'm ready now, I'm tired of watching. Tired of hearing irrelevant clowns speculate how I'll be perceived. Tired of hearing about my greed, my desire questioned. Wherever and whenever I decide to return, I'll remind everyone why they know my name. Again and again, believe in me. Hashtag I found it. Patience, it's almost time." As well, Wyndham Rotunda also changed his Twitter profile picture as well, which is really what started all the buzz regarding Bray's return. Now, like we had mentioned, as of right now there's no real indication on where Bray Wyatt plans to go if and when he does return, which seems like it will be happening extremely soon. But that certainly hasn't stopped fans from speculating online, and while some fans want Bray Wyatt to make the move over to All Elite Wrestling, there are actually lots of fans who want Bray Wyatt to return to WWE, and that perhaps Hell in a Cell 2022 will mark Bray's return to the WWE if he was to come back. Even if Bray Wyatt does not end up returning to WWE at Hell in a Cell 2022, the buzz surrounding Hell in a Cell has been taken to a new level, just with the possibility of a Bray Wyatt comeback or return. Although again, that is just speculation and wishful hoping from fans right now, and there has not been any news revealed that Bray's coming back at Hell in a Cell 2022. It seems like many don't want Bray Wyatt or Wyndham Rotunda to join AEW for some reason, with lots simply putting out a tweet like "Please not AEW," and let us know your thoughts firstly on these massive teasers by Bray Wyatt, and that his return to the ring could be happening very soon. And in your opinion, would you rather Bray Wyatt return to WWE and shake things up in a big way, perhaps shocking fans at Hell in a Cell 2022? Or do you feel like Bray should go to AEW or perhaps another company entirely like Impact Wrestling? However, there's no denying that WWE could certainly utilize a big name superstar like The Fiend Bray Wyatt right now, when things are pretty drab now that Roman Reigns has essentially taken a leave of absence. And The Fiend coming back would instantly get a lot of fans watching WWE again who had sort of tuned out recently. If The Fiend Bray Wyatt was to emerge at Hell in a Cell, there's no doubt the crowd would go absolutely insane in Chicago, but let's not get too excited as we have no idea when Bray Wyatt actually plans to return or where that comeback will be taking place. But again, let us know your thoughts on where you feel Bray Wyatt should go when he does return. We now have some huge backstage news regarding the statuses of Sasha Banks and Naomi in WWE, and by all means the careers in the WWE could very well be over following their walkout of Monday Night Raw a couple of weeks ago, and so far their indefinite suspensions from WWE remain intact, with the two not getting paid at all during their suspension, and all of their merchandise has been pulled from the WWE store. For the fans hoping that this situation with Naomi and Sasha Banks was basically going to be improving, or that WWE would be bringing them back to television soon, the latest news revealed basically makes it clear that that isn't happening, and things could be a lot worse than originally thought. Now, there was some speculation that during Naomi's and Sasha Banks' indefinite suspensions, their contracts with WWE would basically be frozen, but new reports indicate that their contracts are not likely frozen, which means that Sasha Banks and Naomi's deals with WWE could simply be expiring soon, and the two then leaving WWE quietly without ever being brought back to television. According to a breaking new backstage report, Naomi's contract with WWE is set to expire within the next couple of months, and it is now being speculated that Sasha Banks' current deal with WWE is also soon going to be expiring, meaning that Vince McMahon may very well choose to let Sasha Banks' and Naomi's contracts expire, with no intention of bringing them back or re-signing them, with the consensus being that WWE feel what Sasha Banks and Naomi did was incredibly unprofessional, and clearly WWE don't feel Naomi and Sasha Banks would be very big losses for the company in the grand scheme of things. Now, if these new reports are true, WWE may have subtly just revealed that Sasha Banks and Naomi are in fact AEW bound in the very near future, because it is unlikely that either superstar are done with wrestling whatsoever, as they chose to walk out of WWE because they felt they, along with their women's tag team championships, deserved much better. And it's now looking extremely likely that Sasha Banks and Naomi will quietly be departing WWE in the coming months, waiting for any non-compete clauses to run up and then negotiating with Tony Khan and AEW to join the competition. Now, regardless of how you feel about the whole Naomi and Sasha Banks walking out of WWE situation, it is hard to argue that Naomi and Banks would be absolutely huge additions to AEW's women's division, and it is likely that All Elite Wrestling would be more than open to working with them, as they're extremely talented, big names, and would add a lot to the AEW roster for sure. It seems like Vince McMahon and WWE don't feel that Sasha Banks and Naomi leaving the company will be a big deal in the long run, and that the women's division will be fine without them. But by all means, the women's tag team division in WWE is pretty shallow at this point, and Naomi and Banks were a big part of that division following WrestleMania 38. And not to mention that Sasha Banks was already an established top single star in the women's division, as was Naomi, with both of them being former multi-time women's champions. Regardless, this could end up being a huge mistake for WWE and a massive gain for AEW if Naomi and Sasha Banks are basically done in the company, and let us know your thoughts on WWE essentially letting fans know that AEW could be where Sasha Banks and Naomi end up, now that it has been revealed that both their contracts are expiring soon, and that there has been literally no communication between WWE and the two former women's tag team champions. Let us know. Now, Dakota Kai was one of the unexpected releases from WWE this year back in late April, and while many fans were shocked by her sudden release, most fans are now looking forward to what's next for Dakota Kai in wrestling, as she does have a lot of potential. It appears as though Dakota's non-compete clause with WWE is officially over, and Dakota has shown off a new look to fans on social media, and a possible new ring name as well, King Coda. And by all means, many fans are very excited for Dakota's future.